If managing your finances feels like a chore, you're probably doing it wrong. Today, we'll transform how you see and manage at least one aspect of your finances with no spreadsheet required at this moment. Hey everyone, I'm Rose Colburn and thank you for joining me today. Do you ever feel like you're overwhelmed by the traditional methods of financial management? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes just taking a step back and looking at things differently can give us a whole new perspective on managing our money and our finances. In today's video, I'm going to draw a card from this oracle deck called Healing Money Blocks. These cards offer some wonderful insights and ideas to help us on our journey towards financial freedom. As I'm shuffling these cards, let's talk briefly about how people use oracle cards. First of all, some people view oracle cards as a tool for divine guidance, whether that's God or the goddess, the universe, or whatever spiritual beliefs that they hold. They believe the cards can provide direct guidance or warnings related to financial decisions. Intuitive insights is another way that people use oracle cards. They use oracle cards to tap into their own subconscious minds and to connect with their inner guides. They believe that the cards help them access their intuition or their higher self, which can guide them in making more aligned financial choices. For those who don't have any specific spiritual beliefs, oracle cards can serve as tools for reflection. The random choice of cards can help them consider aspects of their financial situation that they might have overlooked or that they should take some time to review. So whether you're looking for spiritual guidance, intuitive insights, or simply a fresh perspective on your finances, these cards can serve as a valuable resource tool in your financial toolkit. And I covered the various aspects of using oracle cards in more depth in another video about spirituality and wealth, and I'll link that video here for you in the cards. So now I'm going to draw today's cards, which is Budget Wisely. Here's what the card has to say. Create a budget that aligns with your priorities and values, allowing you to take control of your finances. So let's explore what this means and how we can apply it to our finances this week. First of all, budgeting doesn't start and end with simply tracking your expenses and writing out a list of all your bills. Budgeting is also about making sure that you include things that matter in your financial plan. When you budget with your priorities in mind and with your values in mind, you're more likely to stick to it and feel satisfied with your financial decisions. Because of how budgeting was taught to us and how people always talk about budgeting, we have a tendency to look at budgeting as a restriction of how we spend our money. Kind of the same way that we look at dieting as a restriction of what we can or cannot eat. We think that budgeting means we have to start counting every single penny like we would count calories. And that's just not true. It's not the whole picture. Instead, let's look at budgeting a different way, like maybe a roadmap to financial freedom. It's not just about tracking every expense. It's also about creating a way to make our dreams come true and to make our priorities a part of our life as well as our finances. So if you create your budget so that it reflects your dreams and priorities, then every dollar you spend is helping you create the life that you've always wanted to live. For example, if traveling is a priority for you, then you should make sure you have money in your budget specifically set aside that allows you to visit the places that you want to see. Or let's say that healthy living a healthy lifestyle is a priority for you. Then maybe you want to include money in your budget for a gym membership or for buying fresh fruits and veggies from the farmer's market. So how do we create a budget that allows us to live the life that we've always been craving? The first step is really all about knowing what your priorities are. Define your priorities. Have you taken the time to create a vision for your life? What do you want your life to look like? A year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? If you haven't done this yet, that's your starting point. Defining your life vision isn't just about your financial priorities. Sure, we all want financial freedom, but it's more than that. It's about asking yourself, what does financial freedom actually mean to you? What would make you happy? What would make your life meaningful? Create your life vision from that. Define what's a priority for you to accomplish. This could mean anything from saving for a house, donating to a charity or to a cause that you believe in, or enjoying time to rest and play. Maybe take a trip to Cancun or something. So after you know what's a priority for you, then you need to figure out if the money that you're spending every month is in alignment with your priorities. So the second thing that you should do is to check your spending. If your vision is to save money to buy a house, but you're spending all your extra money on luxuries that aren't important to you, then you'll never accomplish your goal of buying a house. When I worked through this process myself, I had a lot of things that I knew I wanted in my life, both now and in the future. Things like a house on the beach and good health, freedom from worrying about my finances and a lot of other things. But I was in a lot of debt. And after I reviewed my expenses for like the past couple of months, when I was doing this, I saw that I'd spent a lot of money that I didn't really need and that didn't put my priorities first. Like, one thing that I spent way too much money on was decorating my office. I bought this beautiful tapestry of an old map that completely fills one wall. I bought a few clocks to put above the map that display the time in different time zones across the map. I have absolutely no reason to know the time zones in different areas of the world at a glance, but I thought that was cool. I got a beautiful airy rug and I purchased some pictures for the walls, quite a few other things. But the one thing I hadn't done was put any extra money towards my debt. So how in the world was I ever going to enjoy a life of financial freedom when I was spending all this extra money on stuff that wasn't one of my priorities? So I had to start making it a priority to pay off my debts first. That stuff is kind of the groundwork for what this Oracle card is all about, which is to create a budget. Your budget needs to include money for all the necessary expenses you already have right now. The things that you have to pay, the electric bill, your car insurance, gas for your car, gas bill, whatever it is. But it should also include money that you can put towards stuff that's one of your priorities or more of your priorities. So if you had looked at your spending, like we just talked about, and you decided to cut something out of your spending that wasn't in line with your priorities, then be sure to put that money towards things that you want in your life. And you can do this one of two ways. You can either go ahead and spend it right now on things that you want that align with your priorities, things that are important to you right now. Or you can just start setting the money aside in an account to save up for the bigger priorities like a house. If you didn't cut anything out of your spending habit, then you might find it a little difficult to find that extra bit of money to set aside for your priorities. Even if you only have $10 to put in an account, that just means that you're $10 closer this month to your life vision than you were last month. When I first started an emergency fund, $10 is really all I had to spare. I put the money into a savings account and I called it emergency fund. There were a lot of months when I had to borrow money from that account and then I'd have to start again building it back up. But eventually it became a routine, a habit, to put that money aside and not touch it until eventually I reached my goal and was ready to focus on my next goal. So it's the small and consistent changes that lead to big results. Which reminds me of one of the most important things that I don't think is talked about enough when budgeting is discussed, which is being flexible. Life changes, and so do our priorities. Your budget should be flexible enough to adapt these changes. So the last thing I'd recommend is to take time to review and adjust not only your budget, but your life vision. Budgeting isn't a set it and forget it thing that you check off of your to-do list. It's growing and evolving. It's a strategy that should grow with you as your life changes. Quite a few years ago, there was this huge bike rally that happened every single year. It was a motorcycle ride in support of a veterans cause, and I really, really, really wanted to go to it. So I added that trip and all of the expenses to take that trip to my list of priorities. I went and I got my motorcycle license so I could ride there. But before I could actually get a bike to ride and save up for all of the money for the trip, the organizers, they went and they quit doing it. Another organization has picked up the event, and I do still have some interest in going, but it's just not as big of a priority for me now as it was before. So that's one way life changes, circumstances beyond your control. The thing is, as I grew in my knowledge of financial freedom and scarcity and creating a life that I truly love, my priorities changed. And that's what will happen for you as well. Priorities change, visions change, circumstances change. The things that I once wanted were no longer important, and new things became more important. So flexibility is the key, not only to a sustainable budget, but also to creating your life vision. Checking in with yourself, say every month, can help you stay on track, so you can make adjustments whenever it's necessary. In addition to checking in with your budget every month, take time to think about your life vision and priorities at least a couple of times a year to figure out if the things that you wanted 6 months ago are still in alignment with the things you want today. This card that tells us to budget wisely, to create a budget that aligns with our priorities and our values so that we're the ones in control of our finances. We don't want to put our finances on autopilot, paying bills and spending money without ever stopping to think about what truly makes us happy in this life, what we truly want to do with our lives. That's why it's important to budget for the life we want, not just for the life we have. One day you'll realize that you're living the life that you've always wanted because you started making room for that life through your budget. Thanks for watching.